Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Hi everyone, welcome. You are at Discovering DocuSign University. Welcome. You're here to learn, hopefully. So I am Lauren Dunne. I am the Senior Salesforce Advocate here at DocuSign, and I am a big lover of learning new things. So today we are here with Tori and Sasha. Tori, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I've been with DocuSign for about 4.5 years, and most of that time has actually been spent with DocuSign University. So I'm a huge advocate. I've been a part of a ton of content development. I work with an amazing team, and we are so stoked to tell you all about DSU. So, yeah.
Sasha, over to you.
Hi, I'm Sasha Vodnik. I've been with DocuSign, a more recent addition, and I work with Tori on the same team, but I focus on developer content. So that's DocuSign APIs mainly, and other sorts of developer-focused work around our products. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
And I'm in between you guys. I'm actually 3.5 years here at DocuSign. So yeah, and love it to bits. So I'm going to hand over. There's also another person who is my right-hand gal, Melissa. You're never on these slide decks, but you are amazing, and she's behind the scenes. But I'm going to hand it over to you to do some housekeeping, if that's okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. All right. As mentioned in chat, you are placed in listen-only mode. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Ask questions at any time. Feel free to ask them as they occur to you, and we'll answer via the Q&A box or let you know that we're planning to answer them live. To copy and save your questions, right-click is your friend. Simply right-click on them, copy and save to your desktop or a document. Lastly, you should see a poll on your screen in just a moment. We've set it up so that it's anonymous. If you can answer those questions, that will be a big help to us to understand where you are in your development journey and enable us to customize content for this and future webinars. We'll share the results of the poll at the end too, and then I think Tori will address that a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll, and then over to you, Tori.
There we are. Okay, I am not on mute. Excellent. So I am also looking at the poll, so super cool. So we today are going to be taking a look at a number of different topics around DocuSign University. We are going to cover what exactly DocuSign University is, what we have to offer. Super exciting, our expertise recognition program. A lot of us like to be recognized for all of the hard work we do, and we allow you to do that here at DSU. And also the specifics of how to get started with the DocuSign University Learning Portal. So we'll walk through all of these steps together today. This is really meant to be informational for you. If you have questions, feel free to ask them throughout. I talk a lot, so you'll notice I'm really excited. I get really passionate about DocuSign. So feel free to type those chat questions in, and we will answer them as we go. Okay. Here we go. So what is DocuSign University? Essentially, we are just a team of amazing coworkers who give you the knowledge and expertise you need to unlock the full value of your DocuSign Agreement Cloud solutions. In a nutshell, we have a ton of experts and learning professionals that all work together every single day to help make you successful. You can see that we have trained over 10,000 students. It's crazy to think how many students have come along. And one thing I will say is our trainers are some of the best in the industry. Our CSAT scores are definitely up there. They are always recognized for the great work that they do, but also our designers, our content designers, which is the team I'm on, we all work together to make sure we're listening to you and helping you be as successful as you can be. So we've built over 300 courses across so many of our DocuSign products, from roles from end users, admins, developers, implementers, partners, and more. So there's just so much information out there for you. And we're actually going to make it super simple for you to get that information and continue your education. So what does DocuSign University offer? Okay, we have a lot, so bear with me, which is actually super cool. So the big thing is, how do you like to learn? So we all know that we learn in many different ways. I really like to watch YouTube videos. If I have a question about like a new embroidery stitch I'm working on, yep, that's me, kind of nerdy, crafty right now, I'll use YouTube, right? So videos for me, self-paced content. So DocuSign University, we actually offer some complimentary offerings. So these are free to everybody. Self-paced learning. Self-paced learning can be reading something, taking a little quiz to see, you know, test your knowledge. Also YouTube videos. So we have that available to everybody, complimentary. We also have hands-on learning labs. Now those learning labs, those are about an hour long. They're super short, hands-on. You have instructor led, and they are a great chance to actually increase your knowledge as well. We have some paid offerings, and we're also going to go into more detail with each of these here. So bear with me. Paid offerings. So this, if you want to actually increase your knowledge even more, you can take specialized deep dive courses. Those actually, if you take those, will allow you to get our expertise recognition program badges, which we'll go into more detail with. And then we also have custom training and videos. Now, custom training and videos is a great way for your organization to roll out, you know, implement different processes, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So let's start with self-paced learning. Now, self-paced learning, you know, this is just-in-time learning. This means that whenever you want to learn about something, you can go into the learning portal, you can learn about it very quickly at your own pace. You don't have to rely on anyone else. So if you have a question about, you know, an e-signature topic such as templates, you can pop in there, learn about how to send a template, how to create a template, all those things. You'll see that there are a number of different self-paced learning that we have, no matter what you want to learn about. Now, we are going to take a look at developer-focused self-paced learning in the next slide, but these courses right here, again, just another way to be well-rounded in your DocuSign knowledge. So now, developer-focused self-paced learning. So take a moment, look through all of this amazing content that we have here for developers. So this is, you know, really Sasha's wheelhouse. This is where, you know, they spend a lot of time, create a lot of this content. And I know, you know, I can speak to this content being great, but I know Sasha can speak to it a little bit more. So Sasha, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. Was there any of these courses that you, you know, want to go into a little bit more detail with, or that you're excited about, or anything else you can share about our developer-focused self-paced learning?
Absolutely. So the e-signature API is the big focus here. That's what's been around for a while, and we're still seeing a lot of usage of the e-signature API, even as we're rolling out a lot of other APIs these days. And so we have a learning plan, a set of courses in that first column that's specifically about just learning what is the e-signature API, what can it do for me, and how do I use it? What are the basic steps in getting there? Then there's this advanced topics learning plan in the middle column, which has more of these, okay, I'm using it, but now I have questions about this, about that. And in particular, if you've ever worked with our API, you know that authorization, that getting tokens, that going through that whole process of authenticating can be a challenge to get set up. And so we have courses specifically that walk you through the different aspects of each of our different authentication processes and how you get those going. And then just any other questions you might have along the process, we've got courses around those as well. And then, like I said, we've got some basics on the CLM API, on the Click API for building click wraps. There's one, if you're working with the DocuSign e-signature appliance, there's an API for that as well. And then we've got a little course just getting you on the basics of the Apex toolkit, which is part of our Salesforce integration.
So Sasha, I have a couple of questions here. What does API stand for? And then also, why don't we explain what CLM stands for as well for the folks who are not very familiar with our acronyms?
Great questions. So API is Application Programming Interface. And this is essentially the entry point from an external program to access some of the things that DocuSign can do. So you can write your own app, you can integrate a DocuSign process into your own website or into your own application by using calls to our API, which basically makes a request to DocuSign. DocuSign does something on our end and sends you back the result. And so by using the APIs in your own apps as a developer, you can integrate DocuSign into the flow of your own users as they're using your app. And then CLM, Cloud Lifecycle Management, I believe. Anybody want to correct me on that one? I'm still coming up to speed on a lot of this. Tori?
Yeah, and I am not sure of what that abbreviation is. I'm sure we have an expert in that area that might be able to pop that in the chat, but yes, great questions for sure. So thank you for answering those, Sasha, and thank you for sharing more about—
Contract Lifecycle Management. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
Contract
perfect.
Lifecycle Management. Yes.
We want to make sure we're correct, 100%. But thank you so much, Sasha, for going into more detail with that slide. Again, I know that that is an area that you're passionate about and you work in that world every single day. While you were going over that, I was listening, but I also see the poll results, and I see it's very interesting. 59% of the participants are actually administrators, and only 10% are developers. So the great news is we have a lot of content for developers, as we've talked about, but we also have a lot of admin content as well. So there is something for everybody at DocuSign University. Now, our hands-on learning lab. So we talked about self-paced. I mentioned YouTube. YouTube is, you know, we don't have a slide for it, but it's another way for self-paced learning. So I definitely want to make sure that you know that we do have our DocuSign YouTube channel out there. And then at the end of our presentation, we're actually going to send out this document to you. So you'll have a lot of those resources available to just click. So that'll be a nice reference tool for you. So the hands-on learning labs, these are, you can see we do a lot for DocuSign e-signature, Salesforce, and CLM. These are just 30-minute, hour-long, you know, hands-on sessions where you get to work with an instructor in real time. So you can get your questions answered, you can get clarification, you can practice what you're learning. And you can take them as many times as you want. And remember, they're complementary. So this is a great way, again, to build out that knowledge. So you can actually combine this with that self-paced learning. So you take your self-paced learning on template creation, and then you come in here and say, hey, now I want to take the hands-on learning lab. So they work hand in hand. And we also have advanced learning labs. So if you're, you know, you've done the basics, you say, hey, I'm ready to expand my knowledge. Maybe you want to take something like calculated fields for e-signature or power forms for e-signature. Lots of different options available out there, again, depending on what your needs are. So then we go into our deep dive courses. And as I mentioned, these are paid courses. The reason for that is these courses really build everything out so that you are an expert in the topics. So these courses are typically days long. So yes, it's like being in school, but it's fun school. It's DocuSign school. It's DocuSign University. And as I mentioned, our trainers are so amazing. They're engaging. They make sure that you're learning the information that you need to learn and answering questions. So these courses are fun. I mean, I'll say they're fun. So you'll notice we do have a number of different specialized deep dive courses to suit your needs. So one of the things, you know, for our administrators out there, if you're a web application administrator, we have a full course on that. Each of these courses as well coincide with a specialty badge or an expertise recognition badge, which we'll go into. So you can tell the world everything that you've learned and really share your knowledge out there. So one of the things that we do have for developers, or not things, it's not a thing, it's a course. It's a brand new course that Sasha just created. And I'm going to let Sasha tell you more about this, but I will say about this course, it's the Build DocuSign e-signature solutions with Apex toolkit. I was one of the first students to take it in beta, and it was amazing. And I am really excited for us to roll this out, and I'm going to let Sasha tell you a little bit more about that deep dive.
Yes, so the Apex Toolkit course, I feel really good about this course. I'm really excited about people getting to take this course, pick up this knowledge, and start building things with it. So you've got a Salesforce organization that you use, and you're integrating DocuSign with it. We've got some managed packages you can use to just integrate with a lot of point and click solutions for integrating DocuSign in different parts of your interface. But everybody gets to the point where you're like, okay, I want to do this very specific thing, and you don't have tools set aside for that. And so for that purpose in Salesforce, you've got Apex where you can actually program solutions. We've built out an Apex toolkit that adds to your Apex code so that you can actually make calls to DocuSign's eSignature API, get results back, and then plug those right into Salesforce. And so I created this one-day course where it just goes over some of the greatest hits, some of the things we see a lot of users doing. So in addition to the foundational things about, what the Apex toolkit is and the technologies we're building with Apex and Lightning Web Components and Salesforce, then we look at how do you actually create an embedded e-signature solution in your Salesforce organization with the Apex toolkit. So that is having one of your users going through a process, being able to click being able to click something, and then the browser actually ships over to DocuSign's website where that user can complete a signing process and then be redirected back wherever you want them to. Then we've also got a whole section on building an automated sending solution where you can use a Salesforce flow or process and just add in calling some Apex code that calls the Apex toolkit and integrates DocuSign into that flow or that process. And then finally, testing, super important with Salesforce. So we've got a whole section on building out unit tests so your code is actually deployable to Salesforce. And then finally, what does deployment look like here? So if you have some experience with Salesforce and you wanting to customize that Salesforce DocuSign integration, this is a great course. Spending one day actually getting your hands-on code, building out solutions yourself, and set you up with a lot of resources for continuing on your journey afterwards.
Love it. And it was a fun course. That was the thing. It was lots of information, but it was fun. It was hands-on. And Sasha, you did a great job with this course. So excited for everyone to get out there and get enrolled. So the other section that we have here around what we have to offer is our custom enablement and videos. Now, this is a way for you as an organization to purchase, again, this is a paid offering, but you can get custom curriculum. If you have a use case that you want to have custom curriculum developed for, we can do that for you. We can also create how-to guides. So if you want to have a specific guide to roll out to your organization, custom end user and train the trainer training. Custom videos is really dear to my heart. I work on a lot of our custom videos. Right now I have a customer that is going through change management. They are rolling out DocuSign to, a large group of their employees. And so they just want a 3-minute video to show them what the process looks like, and what they're going to be using the video for is actually certification. So every single user that they give access to DocuSign has to watch the video before they get access. So there's a lot of different things that you can do around those custom videos just to help enable your users. And then we also have training packages and plans for larger scale rollouts. So for anything that you can imagine, all you would need to do is reach out to us and we can have our team put together a proposal and talk through all the options. So those are so many things that we have available to you to help enable you, to help help you be as successful as possible. I want to pause now because, again, I know I talk a lot. See if there's any questions on what we have to offer before we head into our expertise recognition program. Okay, the obligatory 10 seconds. All right, well, let's talk about our expertise.
Hey, Tori.
Oh, yes.
We actually do have a couple of questions.
Awesome.
Let's see, what is DocuSign payments? I think we covered that at the beginning a little bit.
Yeah, DocuSign payments. So you can take self-paced content on our payments, but it is something that we offer as part of our e-signature product, where you can send out an agreement and we can accept payments through the agreement itself, so through the envelope. So there's a lot more that goes into it than that, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. So it's a super cool feature that we do offer with e-signature.
Okay, great. And then one more, are the advanced learning labs complimentary as well?
Yes, they are. How cool is that? So all of our learning labs, those are all part of the complimentary package. So if any of those topics interest you, I'm going to show you here in a little bit how to actually get enrolled.
Okay, and a couple more. We would love if there was a guide to integrate DocuSign with LaserPro.
Noted. Yep. Love it.
Is there a way to allow document uploads through the envelope?
So is this more of a technical sending an envelope question? Just want to clarify.
Yes, I believe so.
So again, we have many different courses on sending, signing, managing. So I would say that that is probably the best place to go to search for information on that, for sure.
Okay. And
All right.
then they
And I'll just let me just chime in then. If you're talking, I'm not sure if this person's asking about the API in particular. Oh, and I thought I knew the answer to this question, but I don't off the top of my head. So yeah, I'm not actually sure about that, but what I would say is, you know, we'll talk about this in a bit, but going to the developer center, we have a really robust developer center as well as a sports center, and yeah, it shouldn't be. In fact, I'm going to try and find the answer to your question before the end of this webinar, but those resources we'll be sharing with you soon.
Thank you, Sasha. Awesome. Okay. Well, as we continue through expertise recognition program, so we've showed you what we have to offer. Now let's talk a little bit about how to accelerate your journey to become an expert. So, you know, you spend time learning about these different topics. And, you know, a lot of these, you know, deep dive courses, they're going to be, you know, a day or multiple days. And you want to have something to show at the end that you can take with you. So we have this amazing program that you can get these badges. And with these badges, the cool thing, like I mentioned, is these are yours. They belong to you. You get to take them throughout your career, and you get to share them with the world. So when you essentially you'll enroll in a course, there are different ways that you can get the specialist badges. But once you pass the exam for the specialist badges in particular, you actually will get an email and you can accept your badge, and then you're able to post those badges on LinkedIn. You can have them as your email signature on Facebook, wherever you want to share this information. And it's a really great way to let people know what these skills are that you have through DocuSign. I will tell you, I have 5 badges, and I'm really proud of that, and I want to take all of them. And one day when I have more time, I will get to do that, but they are definitely a great way to share that with the world. Now, our Apex Toolkit badge is a little bit different, and Sasha, I'm going to ask you to share a little bit more about this badge, because I know I just got this badge, and again, I'm super proud of it, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit more about how that one's a little different.
Definitely. So the Apex Toolkit badge is what we call a special edition badge, and you earn this badge simply by attending and completing the Apex Toolkit day-long training. So when you complete that training, you'll get this badge, and it's basically an audited third-party way that you can not just tell people, hey, I have experience and I understand the Apex Toolkit, but you've actually got DocuSign certifying with this third-party site that you can refer anybody to, saying, yes, this person was issued this badge and it covers these skills.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing, and I love that we are offering this. And again, I was very proud to post this to my LinkedIn for sure.
I was going to say, good thing I was on mute. I squealed when this came up. I love the Apex Toolkit. I got that badge too. I even sent it to my mom because I'm a geek, and yeah.
Well, exactly. We have to be excited, right? I think that we should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty and it's shiny.
Yes, exactly. And so when we're talking about sharing, it's not difficult. So this is just what it's going to look like when you get that email for your badge. You get to click whatever one of these options here. We've integrated very, very seamlessly. So you just get to connect and share. You can even just download, like I mentioned, you can download the badge and put it in your email signature, which I have done. So yeah, so it's a very easy way to share those badges across social media sites. All right, again, I'm going to pause for a minute.
And Tori,
yes, sir.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just going to break in and say we do have a question specifically about badges that I just wanted to be sure to to bring up before we move on. There's somebody asking if it's possible to have a badge resent to them.
That's a great question. I believe the answer is yes. So you get an email from Credly, which is who sends that email. But what happens is you actually create an account with them. So you should be able to log in to the Credly site, and there's another way to re-download it. So yes, so I think the answer to your question is yes.
I'm going to jump in here because this happened to me yesterday. It is in your dashboard when you log in. You just have to poke around, but you can find all the badges that were assigned to you in your dashboard.
Yeah, and I think the first time that you get the badge, you have to create that login. So then that way you have access to that at any time.
Yep.
Yeah, great question. Any other questions about our expertise recognition program before we walk through how to actually access DSU? All right. So let's talk, sorry, I clapped my hands. That was probably really loud. Sorry about that. So accessing the DSU Developer Learning Portal. So we actually do have two different areas where you can access DocuSign University. So we're focusing on the Developer Learning Portal today. And with the Developer Learning Portal, you're going to find that you can access the Learning Portal at the link that you see there at the top of your screen. Remember, we are going to send this deck out, so if you don't get a chance to notate this right now, that's okay. But you will want to save this as one of your favorites. And in our DSU Developer Learning Portal, you're going to find all those things that we just talked about. So the content that is going to be in this Learning Portal has definitely been curated for the developer learning developer learner. And then to sign in, so once you access that link, you're going to notice this is the home screen. At the top, you have the option to register or to sign in. Well, here's the good news. If you're a developer, you've probably created a sandbox or a demonstration account with DocuSign. That's what you're going to use to log in. So it works just like that. You don't have to create a whole new login. I know we all have a ton of logins, a ton of passwords to remember. So if we can make it as simple as possible, let's do it. However, let's say that you don't have a demonstration account yet. You're still able to request access. Now, with this screen right here, what I want to point out, and I know there's kind of a lot going on here, but once you click that sign in option, you're going to see the box on the left. Now, you can log in with your DocuSign account with that little black bar there. That's going to be your demonstration, your email, and your password that you use to access that DocuSign account. Now, this is specifically for demonstration accounts, so I do want to clarify that. If you have a production account, that will not work to log into the developer learning portal, but you can register for access. So to register, you would just click the register option down there at the bottom, fill in the information, and then click register. You'll usually get your credentials approved within a couple of hours. So it does happen pretty quickly, and then you're able to go in and type in your username and password and then log in to access the portal. Now, once inside the portal, this is what you're going to find. So lots of information. As I mentioned, it has been specifically curated for the developer audience. There are all of the courses that are going to be, listed here. You're going to see developer embedded signing, developer custom branding, all the different things. In the middle of your screen, you are going to see the option to search the course catalog. When you search the course catalog from here, you're going to be able to search for any of those courses that are relevant to the developer audience. I also want to point out at the top of your screen, you'll see where it says search content in the platform. Don't use that. Don't use that search bar. That's kind of a different way to search. If you want to search the course catalog, that's where you want to focus down there at the bottom. Now, something that is super cool, again, I nerd out about this, about sharing things, but let's say that you searched the portal or you took a course and you loved it and you know it's going to be beneficial to one of your coworkers or friends. You can actually share that course link at the top right-hand side of the course. So once you click into the course, you'll see that there's a little hyperlink option. All you have to do is copy the link and then send it to whomever you'd like to take the course. So if you're an admin and you want your users to have access to it, you can do this very simply by clicking the copy link option. Now, as you scroll down the page, so we talked about searching the course catalog, and then also you'll have a list of courses that are available, so you can scroll that way as well. You'll find that down there at the bottom, we also have given you access to the full Agreement Cloud library. So if, as a developer, you want to maybe start with the basics and start with e-signature, maybe sending, signing, managing, we're going to give you access within the developer portal. So you don't have to access two different areas. It's all going to be in one just for you. Again, we want to make it easy to learn, right? You don't want it to be harder. So once you click that box, it's going to take you into this beautiful screen right here with all the colors. So prepare, sign, act, and manage. The Agreement Cloud options, you'll see what kind of courses are going to be available in each one of those boxes. And so when you click the box, it'll take you to that collection of content. You can also, as you look down near the bottom, you'll have content for APIs and integrations, as well as DocuSign by industry. So we'll let you search and filter, and we're going to take a look at that in just a second. So once you click in the box, so we clicked the sign box. Once we get into the sign box, here's all the content that we have curated for e-signature, right? For signing with e-signature. You can filter over there on the left. You can filter by whether you want to take a webinar, classroom training, self-paced. If you want to search by a learning plan. That's one thing I haven't mentioned. We actually have learning plans specific to your role. So if you want to search for learning plan, it'll give you a curated list of different content for that topic. You also, if there are additional languages available, you'll find that option here in the filter section. Now I want to pause because I know I'm going through this part really quickly. What questions do you have about accessing the DSU portal? Or Sasha, chime in if I missed anything, and I'll pause.
There was one question, Tori, I just wanted to mention. Someone asked about the term demo account. And I mentioned, you mentioned that we can, that anyone can use their demo account to log into the developer portal in DocuSign University. And that is the same thing as a sandbox. We use those terms interchangeably. And I know that when you sign up for that demo account, we call it a sandbox. So I just want to be clear, those are the same thing. If you have a sandbox account, that is going to let you log into the developer portal in DocuSign University.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And we also hear the term developer account as well. So yes, there are lots of different terms for the same thing. When you create it, it's create sandbox. So yes, it is the same thing. All right. Again, lots of content out there. You'll probably have questions after this session here, but hopefully we have made it easy and made you excited about diving into the developer learning portal to learn and get all the knowledge that you need. So to contact us if you have questions, as a developer, if you have a question regarding your login or your demonstration account login credentials, if you're having an issue with that, you can contact DocuSign University at DocuSign.com for that specific reason. If you want to request custom training that we mentioned, that's where you would go to request that as well. Any suggestions for new content, we're always open. And as I mentioned, questions with the learning portal. And then this is such a great slide. So when you get the deck after the session is over, all of these have been set up with links. So you can just click the link and it'll take you to all of these resources available to you. At the top, the Developer Center. And I didn't even talk about the Developer Center. How did I do that? Sasha, I would love for you to talk about the Developer Center as we wrap up here. Tell us a little bit more about what is there. I don't even know how I missed that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. We focused on DSU and on developer content, but there's this whole other team in DocuSign that's also working to support developers. So the Developer Center is a support site that is focused on developers. And so there's documentation for all the different APIs There's documentation for different integrations. There are links to point you to, for instance, the DocuSign tag comments or in questions over on Stack Overflow, where we have a regular presence. There are links to ask an evangelist. The Dev Evangelism team actually does regular Q&A sessions where you can chat with them and get answers to questions. So you can check that out in the Developer Center as well. Lots of resources there, constantly being updated, and lots of ways to be in touch with developers who are also working with DocuSign products and can help you think about solutions and build things out.
I'm going to pipe it up in here as well. We have lots of SDKs, which are software developer kits, to help you get started on anything you want to integrate DocuSign into, your own custom app, or even Salesforce or Microsoft. There's loads of information on there. There's also, I'm going to do a shameless plug. There is blog section as well on the Developer Center. Not necessarily, you don't have to be a developer to go poke around in the Developer Center. You know, if you're an admin or just a business user and you want to learn more, you can poke around. We don't discriminate. We love sharing as much knowledge as possible to you guys. But there is a shameless plug. I have written a blog on how to access the Developer DocuSign University portal. It's a step-by-step guide, very similar to what Tori has walked us through. So if you did want to go double check that, head over to developers.docusign.com, and there's a step-by-step guide on getting started in that developer portal.
Yes, and it's well written, and I love it. And it's in your voice, Lauren, and it's fun. It's a fun read. I loved it.
There might have been a lot of sugar when I wrote that. But yeah, the Developer Center is a wealth of knowledge. There's guides there, you know. Again, we say Developer Center, there is guides there that, you know, can be used for admins as well. I'm an admin developer, and I find the Developer Center is my one-stop shop for all things DocuSign.
Yeah, and so many other resources too available as we look at this list. The YouTube videos, I mentioned that a couple of times. We actually have DocuSign for developers, so you can head over there. There's a specific developer YouTube channel. And then also DocuSign University. We recently did a huge launch of some great content over on YouTube, and it's doing really well. So if you want to learn about e-signature, we have some great playlists over there for all of you. Support center if you have any issues, for sure. And then the developer blog, as Lauren mentioned, and then some additional partner resources down there.
We have an amazing question. Ooh, I'm going to put Sasha and Tori on the spot here.
Oh, no.
Which course is the best to start with?
Oh, to start with?
Yeah.
I always think the beginning is always a great place to start. So Send, Sign, Manage, anything that has to do with that, I think is a great starting point. You know, if you just want to see how DocuSign works, you can see, we actually have a YouTube video on just signing with DocuSign. It's quick, it's less than 2 minutes. It opens your eyes to some possibilities. So I think that's great. And again, I'm talking more from the e-signature side of things, from the basics, because having that overall knowledge really can help you be a better developer. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. Sasha, I don't know if you have anything additional to add. Kind of took it over.
I mean, I think that's a great starting point. It's a question of where what your focus is and what you're trying to learn. But I agree that, learning the basics of the product or the API that you want to work with is a great start. Like I mentioned, also I put together an e-signature API learning plan that goes through the basics of the e-signature API. So if you're looking at it from a developer perspective and you want to dig in on that API, that's a great place to start step by step.
Awesome. So we just got another question in, and I'm going to steal it on you guys because this is something I'd love to answer. Peter, you have asked us, if I want to use e-signature but don't want to use Apex, can I use Flow only, and is there help on that? So Peter, I'm assuming you're using Salesforce, and guess what? I am Salesforce's #1 fan. So yes, you can use out-of-the-box functionality for DocuSign in Salesforce. Once you have the apps installed, I would suggest using the Essentials app because you get a lot more. You've got DocuSign Gen and Negotiate wrapped in that little package. everything can be clicks, not code. You don't necessarily have to use Apex. And yes, there is a lot of process builder stuff you can use DocuSign for in Salesforce, and you can integrate it into Flow, Salesforce workflows as well. At the end of this, there is going to be a shared email address. If you have any questions on that specifically, Peter, please do reach out. I'd love to help you along on your journey. I love Salesforce and DocuSign. They're like PB&J, which I had for the first time a little while ago. So yeah, reach out to us, please, Peter. Would love to help you. We've nothing else coming in at the moment.
All right. Well, hopefully we have given you enough resources to help you be successful today. Again, there's so many ways for you to learn within DocuSign. DocuSign University is excited. We are happy that we were able to give you this presentation of information today. And thank you for all of your great questions. I don't know, Sasha, if you have anything to add, or Lauren?
Thanks so much for being here, and yeah, please.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sasha.
No, I was just, thanks so much for being here, and please feel free to reach out and dig in on and see what DocuSign University has for you.
Awesome.
Hey.
So, sorry, I was going to say.
Hey, this is Melissa. There are 2 more questions that I'm not sure if you guys saw. One is, do you have any Drupal use cases?
Oh yes, I asked Kamal to reach out personally to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did is DocuSign FedRAMP certified get taken care of as well?
Yes, it is. It's been sent out. We are FedRAMP certified on 2 products.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No worries. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna count to 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no more questions. What I will say is at the end of this presentation, you will be sent a post-webinar survey. If you could fill that out for us, I would really, really, really appreciate it. Let us know what you're thinking, how we did, if there's anything you would like to see. You know, please do. Your feedback means so much to us. I'm actually going to turn my camera on so you guys can see me. Your feedback means so much to us. We do read it. We do take that information on board and use that for future webinars and presentations. So please do give us anything you have. I really appreciate it. Last thing I want to say is, Tori, Sasha, thank you so much for this. I love talking DocuSign University. My grandpa said there's no education ever wasted. And the fact that we have all these free resources, I hope our customers can, you know, get a lot out of it. I know I love learning, so I'm just weird like that. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully see you on the next one.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.